Good evening. This is the draw for the third round proper of the FA Challenge Cup.
Presented by another graduate of the Graham Kelly School of Charisma.
Nottingham Forest.
Number 21.
Against Manchester United.
With pressure mounting on Alex Ferguson for success of some kind, the cup appeared to offer little comfort. It was important because clearly it was all going wrong in the league.
It's certainly the draw we didn't want in the FA Cup third round, to go to the City Ground.
It's been an upsetting time for supporters of Manchester United. A power struggle in the boardroom, a lack of success in the league despite big signings. So today's cup tie highly significant and hugely important for the club.
It was a strange game, to be fair, because it was a game where it wasn't about the FA Cup. Even though it was an FA Cup game, it was about, if we lost that game, would Alex Ferguson lose his job?
Now, Jimmy Hill, the words crucial and crisis are being used as far as this match is concerned for United and, of course, their manager, Alex Ferguson. What do you feel about that?
Well, I don't think that's any help to the club whatsoever. I think that puts added pressure on them at a most difficult time with massive injuries and all their other problems. I think the very haste and the enthusiasm of their supporters cannot help the club at times. I think it's forced a succession of managers into spending money to try and bring them what they've been looking for so long, that success in the league and maybe in the cup. And it's that each manager has tried to fulfil those dreams of the supporters too quickly. They're wonderful supporters, but it puts a pressure on which doesn't help. And I think it's no help today to that team to have those kind of sort of messages for the future. The manager's going to go. Right. It isn't going to help.
But Forest favourites today?
I think they are now that Brian Robson is not playing. I have a sneaking feeling that United would avoid defeat, but not without their skipper. And just the way they're kicking in, I don't know if it's my imagination, but they almost looked as if they lacked a sense of purpose in some way. They don't look like a side who's come here to do a job.
OK, we're about to see what happens. Let's now join Trevor Brooking and Barry Davis.
Captaining Manchester United, Steve Bruce, and the Nottingham Forest captain, Stuart Pearce. Phelan, seems to be a bit more room around the pitch. Parker. The quality of passing has to improve if a victory is to be gained. This is Crosby. Great challenge by Pallister. Crosby was looking for the challenge from behind, but the ball was cleanly won. Chase for Robbins. He's a calm lad, is Steve Sutton. Orlickson. Kept in by Martin. Hughes, he's got a lot of room. And here's Robbins. And did it get the deflection? Was it Robbins or Pearce? I think it may well have been the fullback. But Robbins for sure will claim it. Well kept in here by Martin. Hughes had more room than probably at any stage in the match. Just played it in. Robbins was unmarked. Pearce tried to come in on the far side. Definitely the goal scored by Robbins. The challenge was slightly from behind by Pearce. And really, Forest were totally asleep. Hughes was given room, and Robbins, the scorer, was not marked. Manchester United have a 1-0 lead. The goal in the 56th minute.
I shouldn't be saying this, but I was actually in the pub. I was in the Bull's Head in Swinton, watching it.
Pearce. Jemson. Agonisingly across the face of the goal.
Good ball from Pearce. Viv Anderson tucked inside, just called out a little bit, just pulls his shot a little bit, bobbles agonisingly.
We're into the last 5 minutes. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. Mark Robbins, the scorer of the goal in the 56th minute. Well, two of the matches this afternoon have ended 1-1. Leighton, Jemson, and maybe this one will too. No, the referee is going to disallow it, but he's certainly being surrounded by United players, and a free kick has been given.
Well, as a cross come in, it looked as if it's hanging in the air. Jim Leighton comes out. I think he should have caught it, really. He's punched it up in the air, and I'm very doubtful of why it's been given, in fact. But it could only be offside rather than infringement, because certainly there was no infringement as far as I was concerned.
Clough just couldn't get it out to Crosby. Sutton anxious to get it forward as Forest a few seconds ago came so close. I just wonder whether there was a push here by Terry Wilson, and whether that's the reason, but wasn't the best of goalkeeping. Jemson finally got the nod, but the referee was right on the spot, but the linesman, I suspect, flagged first before the referee blew his whistle. And look at the anxiety there, and they're the team who's leading. Throw is given the other way. Just felt the watch, didn't look at it. Hughes. Crosby. United are through. Some joy at last for Alec Ferguson. The one goal scored by Mark Robins in the 56th minute. There's a smile on the face of the United manager and on the faithful supporters. And disappointment again for Brian Clough. He'll have to wait until the 34th year, and his son's face really mirroring the whole feeling around the City ground here at Nottingham, and in particular, surely, the feelings of his father. What a contrast for Manchester United. After so many problems, at least they've won this crunch match and go through to the 4th round, winning by 1-0. Steve Bruce goes off as the winning captain.
So United's season remains very much alive. I think they consider themselves very much the unlucky party when the two clubs met last season. This time there was a stroke of luck about that victory. What did you make about that disallowed effort towards the end there for Forest?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased to see Manchester United. But this is the decision now. The ball goes up in the air. Young Wilson, who's come on, makes the jump. You see, he's trying to get past Bruce there, and in doing so puts his hands on his back. That was right at the start of that incident. Nothing happens now that's untoward. They're both going for the ball. But I think the linesman who spotted it, Lester Chapter, was right on the... You see, both of them were in a good position to see it, but Lester Chapter allowed the linesman really to make the decision from farther away. But I'm not grumbling about that. I mean, it's one of those that was very tight and could have gone either way. Oh, the decision was offside, and you can see that quite clearly. You know, that there is... well, who's going to be offside there in that situation?
It must be.
I wonder if we have just
Wilson.
one quick look at that again, just to see when the ball was played, just to clear it up finally, if that would be a possibility.
Well, I tell you, well, we can't just for the second, but it was a poor punch by Leighton in the first place, wasn't it? That created the trouble.
It wasn't a good punch, but what excitement to finish a game that took a long while to come to the boil, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. The last 15 minutes was magnificent.
Have some reaction to the draw and to the match now from the goal scorer here today, Mark Robins. Brian Robson's there as well with Tony Gubber.
Well, first of all, a reaction to that draw. It's actually Hereford United away for Manchester United. Brian, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's always nice to get a home draw in the Cup, but in saying that, on paper it looks an easier one than Forest here. But you never know when you go to these lower league clubs. You know, it's a cup final for them, and they're always difficult games.
In the way United perform against teams like Liverpool and in do-or-die cup matches like this, you might have preferred a bigger opposition, really.
Well, I think what you've got to look for is the same attitude as the lads showed today. And if we played like that every week, then we wouldn't be so inconsistent.
Amazing that there should be a controversial refereeing decision in this match, as there was in the quarter-final at Old Trafford last season. But let's talk to the goal scorer today, Mark Robins. Great game for you. Only your 5th match today, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah. It's only my 2nd game in the Cup. I played against QPR last year. I'm delighted that I've got the chance to play.
Yeah. Tell us about the goal.
I didn't remember much of it, but Matt Hughes... Oh, is that Lee Martin? Lee Martin's played a good ball to Matt Hughes, and... he's got it, and he's turned and he's played a great ball in behind the defence, and it just came to me, and just managed to get my head on it. And it's gone in. I'm delighted with it.
And we can look at that again from a different angle, and as we do, Brian, perhaps you can just underline for us how important a goal like that is in Manchester United's season, because it keeps it alive.
Well, to our club it means about 200,000, I think, with the way the fans travel about with us. But no, I mean, Mark's took his chance well. He's played a couple of games now and he's scored a few goals. And not just his goal though, but his overall play. You know, he was bringing people into the game.
And hopefully you'll be fit for the 4th round.
I'm hoping so.
Smashing. Thanks very much indeed.
Well, he had a super game, and Mark Hughes' pass to him was a fabulous pass as well. But, Jimmy, what about that disallowed goal? Let's have another look at it, because we need to have another look at it.
I'm dying to have another look. I know that both officials were absolutely on the spot there, and if anybody should spot an offence, it was them. Let's look with a view to offside in mind, because that's what's suggested is the reason it was disallowed. The ball goes up in the air. Is there an offside at that point? Yes, now there is an offside. Well done, the linesman. It's cleared it up for us nicely at the end of the day.
I think it's Gary Crosby out there, was it?
Oh, no, he hasn't given it at that point, so we'll have to forgive the linesman for that. Well, what happens now?
Still not flagging.
You see,
he flags there.
At the end of that, we can only say that's a decision that is going to mystify us as long as football lasts. But it's fair that it goes in Manchester United's favour, because they had the wrong end of it last time.
It almost looked as though there was an offside earlier where there was no flag.
There was an offside earlier which he missed, but in the end, somehow they got it right.
Yeah, anyway, great victory for Manchester United. Were they worthy of victors, do you think?
I think they were, although Forest missed some chances in the second half. Young Jemson missed a couple. That shows how you can go up and down in this game. Hero last weekend, you know, and the one who didn't do it this weekend. Yeah. But if they use that result to rebuild the future of Manchester United, you know, to the past glories, that will be wonderful.
And I think we would both agree that perhaps the man of the match was Des Walker today.
Tremendous game.
Had a fabulous game.
Alex had a lot of injuries at that time, so he threw a lot of the young lads in. And Mark Robbins scored the winner, you know, which everybody says saved Alex's job, but I don't think that was the case. You know, around the club, we all knew that the directors had great respect, and the chairman had great respect for Alex Ferguson. And now I don't think it was ever a case of he had to win that game, otherwise he was going to be out. You know, and I think that probably was the turning point, though, for United and for those young lads who Alex had brought into the club to go on and do achieve what they've achieved now.
Produce a performance on the day. Contrary to Jamil's opinion, we looked a beaten side in the warm-up. That you know, maybe was the spark.